Standing 240 feet tall on the Giza Plateau on the west bank of the Nile in Egypt is the oldest act of plagiarism. Oh yes, the great Sphinx of Giza, considered by some to be the eighth wonder of the world, was Egypt's biggest scam. Did you know that the Great Sphinx wasn't built by the Egyptians yet? They subtly take credit for the work of art. More still, did you know that the Great Sphinx is an abandoned project and it isn't even a sphinx? Welcome to Mystery. Today, we'll be delving into one of the most iconic mysteries of ancient history, the Great Sphinx of Giza. More shocking truths await you. Stay tuned. Let's go back to ancient Egypt, a time when pyramids and the Great Sphinx dominated the horizon. The Great Sphinx, with its enigmatic face and majestic body, has witnessed millennia of history. Today, let's delve into the mysteries surrounding this monumental icon. What if we told you that the Great Sphinx was built by aliens? Or that it existed long before Egypt became a desert land? Imagine standing before the Great Sphinx. It gazes back at you with its timeless expression. But behind those eyes, intriguing questions persist. I bet there are many things you probably don't know about the Great Giza. Who built it? What was its purpose? And most importantly, what secrets has it guarded for millennia? This marks the beginning of a captivating story. Let's start with who, why, and when the Great Sphinx was built. Who built the Great Sphinx? Now the truth is, at the moment, no one really knows who built the Great Sphinx. Strange, right? Well, that's the sad reality. Historians' testimonials and archaeological evidence offer fragments of truth, yet they also raise fascinating questions. Inscriptions, reliefs, everything contributes to creating a mysterious narrative around the Great Sphinx. Yet, scientists and archaeologists have not been able to come to a consensus about who actually built the Great Sphinx, although we have some options. The first option is Khufu. So, Khufu is actually the second pharaoh of the 4th dynasty, but that's not why he's a prime suspect. Khufu is known for being the most innovative pharaoh that ancient Egypt ever had. Many astonishing historical structures have been found to be Khufu's witty inventions, like the pyramids of Giza located in the Giza complex, just like the Sphinx. Another suspect is Khadre, Khufu's son. He's actually suspected to have built the Sphinx based on the quote, "An apple doesn't fall far from the tree." Many people believe that Khadre, being Khufu's son, had he walked in his father's footsteps, would have easily constructed the Great Sphinx to add to his creative portfolio. Sounds logical, but well, there are two reasons why this might not be true. First things first, the Sphinx, unlike other structures put up by pharaohs, doesn't have any inscriptions on it that state who built it. And even after all these years, no one has actually come up to claim ownership or invention of the Great Sphinx. That's not all. Ancient historians seem to be meticulous without recording and documenting their history. If you want to know anything, I mean anything about Egyptian history, just get down to reading the hieroglyphics. However, even with their meticulous nature, nothing was said at all in the hieroglyphs about the Great Sphinx, and that raises a lot of eyebrows because if it wasn't mentioned at all, then there is a high chance that it wasn't their invention. So if it wasn't the Egyptians that invented it, who then? Most likely non-Egyptians, aka foreigners, but mind you, these aren't your regular foreigners, trust me. I mean the kind of technological prowess that went into building that pyramid is otherworldly. No human, at that time anywhere in the world, would have been smart enough or knowledgeable enough to build that eighth wonder of the world. Now another reason why it's hard to decide on who built the Sphinx is because we also don't know why the Sphinx was actually built. Theories and speculations. Over time, theories have emerged. Was it a guardian of secret knowledge, a representation of a deity lost to time? Speculations are as vast as the desert that surrounds it, and each opens a door to the unknown. Let's bring the sculpture a bit more alive. Now this gigantic structure right here was actually carved out from a line of stone bedrock in its purest and most natural form, fresh from the Giza Plateau. So it's half human and half animal, a lion's body with the head of a man, and not just any man. The face looked very much like Pharaoh Khafre, and then it was painted red, with the wings, and then the beards. Yes, the Great Sphinx had beards. It must miss them now that they are locked up far away in the British Museum. It also had a nose, but no one really knows the whereabouts of its nose at the moment. So the Great Sphinx is breathtaking. Anyway, the half-human, half-lion concept sounds a lot like Greek mythology, but well, the origin goes far deeper. Back in the day, Egyptians used to worship cats. Yep, cats. And you know how the lion is the king of the cat family, and pharaohs in that time liked to think of themselves as gods. So the Great Sphinx, whose strategic position in the Giza complex was a fantastic way to rub it in everyone's face. Hey, I'm the king here, bow to me. But then there are other speculations that perhaps the Great Sphinx is a hideout for dark secrets. The Great Sphinx actually has a hidden chamber within it with lots and lots of classified information, but Egyptians have refused to let anyone in. Ever heard about the fairy tale Atlantic City? The one they talk about in Little Mermaid and Aquaman? Well, rumors have it that the Atlantic City actually exists, and the untold truth of the Atlantic City and many other universal secrets are hidden in the Great Sphinx. The Egyptians seem to be in on it because they have refused to let anyone into the Great Sphinx. By the way, the Egyptians seem to not have been the ones who built the Great Sphinx. Shocking, right? That's just a few of the many, many disturbing mysteries of the Great Sphinx. The pivotal moment comes as we explore the deepest mysteries of the Great Sphinx. Its astronomical alignment, its origin. Each element adds a layer of complexity to this puzzle, inviting us to contemplate the incomprehensible. Scientists and archaeologists also haven't come to a consensus about the actual time the Sphinx was built. When was the Great Sphinx built? For many years now, archaeologists and Egyptologists believe the Great Sphinx to be approximately 4,500 years old, and they sold this belief to us. However, much recently, some people like Graham Hancock and John Anthony West actually believe that the Great Sphinx of Giza is way older than what no archaeologists and Egyptologists claim it to be. In fact, some recent studies have even further proven this theory. You might find this hard to take in, but the truth is that not everything is as it seems, even when the best of professionals are involved. So while archaeologists jointly estimate that the Sphinx was constructed between 2558 and 2532 BCE, there are a number of reasons to believe otherwise. The first reason is erosion. This issue of erosion is a recurring debate that has been since the early 1990s. It sparked up a hot controversy that year, and everyone started to doubt every previous fact, info, and claim that had come from scientists about Egypt. Based on this, West suggests that the Sphinx was more likely carved about 10,000 years earlier, before Egypt became desertified. And of course, this stunned the entire scholarly and learned community. Now, if you zoom in a little and give the Sphinx a close look, you'll notice some traces of erosion. But what kind of erosion was it? Well, many scientists claimed it was wind erosion to save face and help previous findings remain valid, but it was questionable. But in a more open-minded and meticulous research, it was observed that the Great Sphinx had survived extremely wet weather conditions that contrasted sharply with the now hyper-arid conditions of the Sahara Desert. Moreover, some refacing work had been form-fitted to the eroded blocks behind it. The blocks used for this refacing are believed to be from the Old Kingdom. But think about it for a minute. Why would such work be required in a structure that is less than 500 years old? Something fishy. Another reason why we strongly believe it's water erosion is because of the location of these erosion marks. So, one time, a stone from the Sphinx was given to a renowned geologist for inspection. He wasn't told where the rock was from, but he analyzed it closely and identified it as water erosion. When it was revealed that it was gotten from the Sphinx, it was too late. Because of this, another theory was postulated that it was indeed water erosion. However, the erosion was then said to have been caused by the overlooking of the Nile River. But what they didn't know was that there were only a few erosion marks at the bottom of the Sphinx, with a host of marks on the head region and upper part of the Sphinx. Bear in mind that the Sphinx is 73 meters long from paw to tail, 20 m high from the base to the top of the head, and 19 m wide at its rear haunches. The said Nile River is 26 to 36 feet deep. Clearly, the erosion marks don't lie. There's something the scientists are trying to hide from us. In fact, Egyptologists in the late 19th and early 20th centuries had actually suggested that the Sphinx may have been older than the pyramids based only on how it looked and felt. According to some scholars, the original limestone that was used to build the Sphinx eroded rather quickly. If that were the case, and assuming that the rate of degradation was constant throughout time, the Sphinx should have vanished some 5 centuries ago. It is generally accepted that the Sphinx was buried in sand from approximately 2150 to 1400 BC. It was then uncovered and repaired from the various repairs done at different periods of history. It appears that weathering caused little erosion between 1400 BC and the present. but the restoration work dating from 1400 BC is quite substantial, so it doesn't add up. If the Sphinx was built in 2500 BC and spent most of the following millennium under the sand, how did it erode so quickly? Well, other scholars believe that New Kingdom workers used Old Kingdom blocks from the causeway to Khafre's pyramid to reface the Sphinx. However, there is no way to verify this belief. And then, the tombs surrounding the Sphinx only exhibit the mild, wind-blown sand weathering one would expect in Old Kingdom monuments, despite the fact that the Sphinx and the tombs surrounding it in the valley are made of the same rock and all date to the same period. Shouldn't the erosion on the tombs be similar to the erosion on the Sphinx? Another reason why we believe the Sphinx existed far earlier than we are told is the kind of top-notch technology used to build it. The meticulous construction and building techniques. We all know Egyptians were the first to invent scissors, but this Sphinx is far more complicated than that. Even the exact methods used in the construction of the Sphinx remain a subject of scholarly debate. From the pyramids of Giza to the Great Sphinx, Egypt is filled with a lot of wonders. The Great Sphinx of Giza is like the Indiana Jones of statues, standing tall and mysterious in the Giza complex. However, there are many hidden truths behind this great historical structure. We aren't even sure if the Great Sphinx was actually built by the ancient Egyptians. Your voice matters in this quest for historical truth. Which of these truths do you find most disturbing? Do you think we'll ever get to see all the secrets hidden in the Great Sphinx? Let us know in the comments. But first things first, you need to subscribe to this channel for more juicy historical info like this. Thank you for joining us today on Mystery, where the past unveils its secrets.